jump. It drives me up the wall. Luckily, I don't play video games with the mouse because I use a controller like a decent God-fearing human being, even though I'm not either of those things. But just moving the mouse around over here, sometimes it just jumps. And it's a pain in the ass when I'm working on the thumbnail or editing a video and whatnot, and I'm like, okay, I need this to stop right here, and then the mouse jumps, and I'm like, God. I have to Control Z and do it again and hope the mouse doesn't jump. It's not batteries. I put a fresh battery in it. So I don't understand. It is a cordless mouse. And jeans are napkins that you wear all day. But yeah, I don't understand what's causing problems with my mouse. It's been happening for, I don't know, about a month or two now, probably. It didn't start when I got this mouse, which is why I thought it was the battery, because it just sort of started happening more frequently, and I went, it could be RFI? What does that mean?
See, I misread that. I thought that said FBI.
Is that radio frequency interference? Maybe? If so, what would be causing that? But yeah, it's hey, that's what I said. But it's frustrating. But anyway, we have now been filling for 2 minutes, so we're almost certainly good to go. So here we go. Ow, jam! Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mana Pool. This has been a really weird day. I am Chewie, and this is episode 620 of the Mana Pool. Sort of, kind of, about to happen, hopefully. I am joined by 2/3 of the other dorks, but because I don't have all night, we've got who goes first? Brian? We've got Brian.
I usually go first.
Who is the Rambler.
Yep.
That's Brian. That's and we got Dirk, the greenest man alive.
That's me.
Oh,
see? Him. And Mike is sadly not with us for reasons unknown, actually. All he said was, I'm not going to make it. And we went, well, damn. And so there's no Mike. But yeah. One last warning. I'm probably going to upload a separate audio file just to drive it home. But one last warning. Please check which RSS feed you're subscribed to, and make sure you're subscribed to the manapool.libsyn.com/RSS and not the FeedBurner feed, because the FeedBurner feed will soon become defunct and not be updating anymore. I forgot to mention this on the last episode, but I've mentioned it on the 2 or 3 before that. So yeah, if you would like to continue listening to the Mana Pool via RSS feed, please check that in your podcatcher or whatever thing that you use to listen to podcasts. Because yeah, I'm gonna switch it over to the Libsyn feed very soon. Sometime after this goes up. So yay. Okay, now, like I said, this is episode 620. It's been a very weird day. I got to watch the Mana Pool's Twitter account get hacked and stolen from me in real time this morning. That was fun.
Yay. He said, question mark.
I got an email that said, hey, you added a phone number to your Twitter account. And I went, no, I didn't. And I thought it was a phishing account, like a phishing scam. So I opened up Twitter and looked, and there was a phone number. And I went, that's weird. And then I saw that the email address had been changed. And I said, oh, no. But before I could get to the password reset, it booted me out because that person had changed the password. And it was some jackass that makes fake IDs for people in South Carolina. But I know a guy who knows a guy that works at Twitter, and a bunch of people in the Discord and on Facebook reported the account as hacked, because it was. And I filed a support ticket. Like I said, I know a guy who knows a guy that works at Twitter, and my guy poked his guy and got it fast-tracked for me. So I only lost access to it for, I don't know, like 2.5, 3.5 hours, something like that. I haven't actually checked the timestamps yet, but...
which is incredibly fast given the circumstances.
Yeah, given that it's Twitter, and it probably would have taken like 5 days. Yeah, that's amazing. But,
if it happened at all, of course.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it would have, because within literal minutes of literally all of the account information changing, they got a report that it was hacked, and a bunch of other accounts started reporting it as hacked. So
I should be clear, not that your issue was resolved, because I would hope that would be eventually. But I'm just saying it's kind of a bright side of things, considering that you were hacked in the first place, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
And the reason that I got hacked is because I hadn't turned on two-factor authorization, because when Twitter got two-factor authorization, I would get pop-ups all the time that would say, hey, give us your phone number. And I was like, no. Because it turns out, as Bill put it, who's in marketing, your phone number is like your unique identifier across all platforms. So once you give your phone number away, it starts connecting to all of your other accounts that have your phone number. And then you get even more spam. And so I never gave them my phone number, so I thought, well, I guess I just won't have two-factor authorization. They didn't bother to promote the fact that you don't have to use your phone number for two-factor authorization. But as soon as I got the account back, I turned that on. So, yay! The problem is, the jackass deleted my entire Twitter history. Everything I've ever tweeted is gone now. And that makes me angry beyond all reason. Not because there was anything important there, because it wasn't my idea. Like, I had no control over it, it's just gone.
Right.
And so if the sumbitch better hope I don't find out where he lives, because I'm going to get the cops on him. Not for hacking my Twitter account, but for making fake IDs. But anyway, so that's not what we're here to talk about, but that's the exciting thing that happened today that messed up my whole day. But what we're here to talk about is Commander 2021, because last week we didn't do a show, right? Yeah, last week.
Correct.
Which we would have done Commander 2021, but somebody couldn't make it, and someone else...
There was a good chance I wasn't going to make it, and then I was able to make it.
Oh, because we did the Just Chatting stream. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Because Brian was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. And I was like, well, damn. And then Brian was like, I might make it, but I've got stuff to do. What if we do Just Chatting? I'm like, that sounds awesome.
And so we did. And we all lived happily ever after. Until
the Twitter hackers attacked. But anyway, so yeah, we're here to talk about Commander 2021, which I guess is out or something. I have no idea, to be perfectly honest.
Nope.
It releases April 20th. So it releases tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, because Strixhaven's not out yet. It's just on Arena already. Right.
Which for like 90% of the people that play right now, especially with the pandemic, is most of how you get your Magic. So you would be forgiven for thinking that it was out yet.
Yeah, so they're doing the same thing this year they did last year. Commander 21 is tied to a set. But this year, they did it right. Instead of in the middle of previewing the cards from the set, they dumped the Commander 21 and 2020 cards, which was really stupid and caused way more confusion than it should have. They waited until after Strixhaven previews were over, and then we got the Commander 2021 cards. Good job, wizards.
Way to not completely mess it up.
I still want to know whose dumbass idea that was. But then I don't.
Yeah.
So
we have both the list here for the card image gallery, and we have the list of actual deck lists. How do we want to approach this?
I think we should do the commanders first.
Okay. So do the commanders and then kind of hop back and forth a little bit.
And then, I mean, I'm sure by the time we're done with the commanders, you two will be going to bed because we didn't start till late. So
it is almost 9 o'clock. I am getting sleepy.
Yeah, and we just started. These two in the pre-show odds and ends were just back and forth, just the whole time, just blah, 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 and I would occasionally say something, and then I was like, "All right, let's get started." And then 10 more minutes passed because they got going again. So
now we'll be like, "Hey, Dirk, you want to talk?" He's gonna be like, "Eh." We'll be like, "All right, everybody."
So apparently the commander for the Lorehold deck is Osgir the Reconstructor.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hell of a name and title. Osgir the Reconstructor. Choose the form of the Reconstructor.
Nobody thought of anything, right?
What'd you do, Ray?
Nobody thought of anything. What'd you do, Ray?
So
I tried to think of the most harmless thing.
What, a giant
Osgir.
artificer? Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, he was, he growing up as a kid, Osgir was so comforting. All right, you can go ahead.
So, Osgir the Reconstructor, for 2 red and a white, is a 4/4 giant artificer. With vigilance. And says, pay 1 and sack an artifact. Target creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Well, that's not so bad. And then pay X, tap, and exile an artifact card with mana value X from your graveyard. Ugh. Create 2 tokens that are copies of the exiled card. Activate only as a sorcery. Holy crap.
So Mike isn't here to say Wormcoil Engine, so I'm going to say it for him. Wormcoil Engine. Thank you. Good night. Yeah, I mean, so second ability by itself, you might be like, okay, this requires some setup, and it does a little bit, but then combined with that first ability, you have so many ways of getting artifacts into your graveyard between tutors and between search effects like tutors or wishes, which I know most wishes don't work in Commander now, right? But there's other options. But then if you get if you get that artifact onto the battlefield, then you can use that first ability, pump up a guy, and then go ahead and copy it here. That seems pretty good, right? Right? I feel like that's pretty good.
Sure. Seems good.
I mean, you can do all...
Chat said 2 soul rings, which makes me want to cry.
Yeah. 2 soul rings. I said Wormcoil Engine, and you can put basically anything in there that would be something that then if it dies or is exiled, you get more copies of it or of something else. Anything with a dies trigger, anything with an enters the battlefield trigger, so you just get more value off of this. What is it? Spine of
Ishsa?
Yeah. Is that legendary?
I don't remember.
I'll look it up.
Your computer's too slow.
I was thinking of something like a Darksteel Colossus.
Spawn.
Yeah, but you're a monster. It is not legendary.
Okay.
Stark said, fun fact, Osgir's art was posted on r/imaginary dwarves, a subreddit dedicated to fantasy art depicting dwarves of all sorts. Huh. When the card was revealed and it turns out Osgir was a giant, not a dwarf, the person who posted the art to the dwarf subreddit was legitimately upset and apologetic. Aw. He does look dwarvish in proportions.
He does.
Usually the person behind him.
Well, the person behind him could be like forced perspective, just far away or something.
Yeah, and you got a sword there, but the sword might. Who knows how big the sword is? So
yeah, apparently the sword is really freaking big if he's a giant. So
there are very dwarvish aspects to this art. So I get where they're coming from and apologizing, but I don't know that there's anything really to apologize about. Seems like it was just a mistake.
I mean, it's a subreddit, so whatever. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. So that's Osgir the Reconstructor.
Yep. Let's see. Should we go ahead and do the next commander then and keep moving?
I mean, yeah, we should do the one right next to it. Alabu. Yeah, the other one from that deck.
Oh, okay. I was on the page that you linked to with the deck lists. So let me switch over to the other one. Can't find it.
You could Control F and go OSGIR.
Alabu. So
yeah,
this
there
is
you go.
Alabu, Ancient Witness. For 3, a red and a white. It's a legendary artifact creature golem, and it is a 4/5. So a 4/5 for 5. Other artifact creatures you control have haste. Okay, that's interesting. I'm reading this for the first time, by the way, which will be the tale for most of these things. Whenever one or more artifact creatures you control attack, Alabu Ancient Witness deals X damage to any target and you scry X, where X is the number of tapped artifacts you control.
That's pretty funny. So if you attack with Alabu, you ping something and look at the top card and choose to put it on the bottom.
Right.
But if you attack with any other artifact, and let's say you don't have any other tapped artifacts, but like that ramps fast because you only need one artifact creature to attack, but it counts all of your artifacts.
Like your Soul Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or your Icy Manipulator.
Or your Icy. Tap a guy to clear the way to attack and then follow it up with said attack. And this is great on its own. And now I want you to picture giving this guy Alabu lifelink. Because Alabu is the one that deals the damage.
Alabu is dealing the damage. Hey, look at that.
Yeah.
I prefer Death Touch. Let's give it Death Touch.
Oh, because it is any target, isn't it?
Just remember that equipment and whatnot that you put on Alabu does not tap when Alabu attacks.
Correct. I could see that coming up.
That's really cool. I don't know if there's much else to say about it, but it's really freaking powerful.
Yeah, it's interesting. It almost works negatively with Vigilance because you want your stuff to be tapped. But as we just said, the tapping does not have to at all come from the attacking. Yeah. There's lots of artifacts you can control that can get tapped for all sorts of stuff. So,
quick question.
Okay.
Are
quick
the
answer.
Swords legendary?
The swords, like Sword of Fire and Ice?
Sword of Ice and Fire and blah, blah, blah.
They are not legendary. Probably should be.
I'm just thinking with Osgir being like, I'm going to sacrifice this. I'm going to exile that card. Hey, look, I've got a whole bunch of swords.
Now I have 2 swords. Give me a second. Now I have 4 swords. Look, I'm Legend of Zelda.
Oh, for a second there, I was like, "Oh, you can sacrifice the tokens." No, because they're.
I mean, you can sacrifice the tokens, but you won't be able to exile. Yeah,
for 1/2 a second. I was like, oh, good, you can get more copies that way. You can't get more copies that way because the copies don't end up in your graveyard.
Yeah.
So
You could be like Cloud from Advent Children and have all these swords that you're sort of throwing together until you have like the Omnisword of ultimate badassness.
Omnisword.
Of ultimate badassness. Is that the name of this episode?
Absolutely.
I think it has to be now. And people will be like, why? And you'll be like, gotta listen to the episode.
It's like, why not? Hang on, I gotta write that down, because by the time I put this together, I'll have forgotten. Omnisword of ultimate badassness. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's do the next one. Who's the next one?
Prismari. So this one's a little interesting. I'm going to go ahead and read this one too, if that's okay with Dirk, because I want you to listen to this.
Okay.
This is Zafi, Thunder Conductor.
Oh, this one, yeah.
Did we cover this one already?
No, this was covered in the Discord, and I had to read it 8 times. Someone was like, this card literally does nothing, and I read it like 8 times going, why doesn't it do anything?
And then you go, oh, that's why it does nothing. So, Zafi, Thunder Conductor. Costs 2, a blue, and a red. So 4 for a 1/4 legendary human shaman. Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, scry 1. If that spell's mana value is 5 or greater, create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. If that spell's mana value is 10 or greater, Zafi, Thunder Collector deals 10 damage to an opponent chosen at random.
Yeah. I read it, and I went, no, that sounds right. Now, I was dashing at the time, so I like read it at a red light, and I went, that sounds right to me. And then I delivered an order, and people were still talking about it in the Discord, and I went, hang on. And so when I got to a parking lot when I didn't have an order, I read it again, and I went, why wouldn't that trigger? That sounds like it works perfectly well within the rules. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, why would this need day 0 errata? I don't get it. And then I read it again, like very closely looking at each individual word. No, this works perfectly well. I don't understand. And then finally, it clicked. The name of the card is Zafi Thunder Conductor. And in the rules text, it says Zafi Thunder Collector. Oops.
Yeah. Typo.
So,
and I mean, you could expect to see a card named Zafi Thunder Collector. That sounds like a commander card. The only problem is that's not the name of this card.
Yeah, like I never register the what is that? The appellation. It's just the Alibu, whatever. You know, Osgear. Well, okay, the Reconstructor I did because it sounds cool, but you know, Zafi, Thunder, whatever. Don't care. What's the card do? That's why it took so damn long. Because like I don't. All right.
In your mind, it might as well say card name.
It might as well say card name, exactly.
Because that's how we've been conditioned.
So,
you know what it means, therefore.
Yeah. So I thought that was funny. Once it clicked, I was like, oh my god! Because it's staring you in the face. It reminds me of an old joke. Sherlock Holmes and John Watson went out camping. And they pitched their tent and made s'mores and whatever, and then they went to sleep. And in the middle of the night, Holmes elbows Watson and goes, Watson, look up at the sky and tell me what you see. He says, I see just thousands of stars. He goes, now, what can you deduce from that? He said, well, with that many stars that we can see, there are probably many, many more that we can't see, which means surely there's another star out there like our sun that has a planet like ours, so that maybe just maybe, we're not alone in the universe. And Holmes goes, what? No, it means someone's stolen our tent, you idiot.
I like it.
And that's how I felt when when I finally realized what I was missing. I went, oh God, I'm stupid. But as for what the card itself does.
So as for the card does, because I had to mention that, because, so breaking it, there's a whole lot of words here. But break it down. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you go ahead and get to scry 1.
Yeah.
Bingo. Easy enough. Minor effect, that's fine. However, if it costs 5 or more, you also get a free 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. That's the one that's the Prismari token. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then in the instance that it's 10 or greater, which, wow.
Hell yeah, big X spells.
Deals 10 damage to an opponent chosen at random. So it can't hit a creature or a planeswalker.
Or your face.
But it can hit their
very
face.
important.
It can hit their face. And in, a one-on-one, you know who that opponent will be.
Yeah, let me roll a die. Heads I win, tails you lose.
And in multiplayer, you get to play the sorry Chewie card. It's not me. It's the dice. And Chewie just looks at you as he packs up his stuff and goes home.
Yeah, I don't want to play Magic anyway. Damn it, I'm going home. But yeah, I think this card is really neat. Like it's a fun card. I think, but the weird typo just makes it way better.
It almost gives it a little more something special, right?
Yeah.
Like,
what the French call an I don't know what.
Something. Yes.
Hang on, let me go check the variants to see if... Is it in the variant? I don't know how the variants work in this set.
I don't know. Is there, because it's a commander one, is there a variant? I don't know that there is.
Nope, it says collector there too. Well, damn. Oh well.
That actually pleases me for some completely unknown reason.
It does.
In for a penny, maybe.
But yeah, I like free 4/4s, and I love throwing a random Pyroblast around. So yeah, it seems good.
What's the other commander for this?
Veyran, right above it.
Okay.
Hey,
Well,
Doc,
I've
what's
taken
that?
2 in a row. Yeah.
It's a Veyran, Voice of Duality.
Ooh.
For 1 blue-red, legendary creature, Efreet Wizard, that's a 2/2. It has Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, Veyran, Voice of Duality gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Awesome.
Okay.
If
So it's like better than prowess.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Ron, you're gonna love this. If you casting, oh, never mind. I'm like, if you casting, I'm like, I think there's a little bit of an
So many
English
typos.
problem here. If you casting or copying an instant or sorcery spell causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time.
It's fascinating because it doesn't say another permanent you control.
Yeah, I was just about to say, that means it's got double better than prowess.
Yeah.
That's gross.
I mean, it is legendary. But, yeah.
I'm sorry, Stark just said, if you casting spell, effect happen.
Oh. You not wrong, Stark. You not wrong.
You get heckin' good effecto.
Getting some really strong Tarzan vibes here.
I feel like I should dab now, but luckily the webcam's not on. Oh.
Luckily or unluckily?
It's very, very luckily. Okay, so just by itself, Magecraft will trigger twice whenever you cast or copy a thing, so that's cool.
Yeah. But then anything at all that says whenever a player casts a spell,
Yeah, all of your magecraft that you control will trigger twice.
I mean, you mentioned prowess.
Yeah, prowess will trigger twice. Things that I don't know what off the top of my head.
There's the old lucky charms, the artifacts that, like, when you cast a spell of a certain color, you gain a life. Well, there you go. If it's a sorcerer instant of that color, so
Dude, yeah, gaining 2 life off of each spell with a single lucky charm is actually makes those really good.
yeah, especially the ones that cost 3 that you don't have to pay 1 for each time, because otherwise you probably can't afford it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
this is pretty cool.
yes, my Johnny senses are tingling.
So
Yeah.
something like landfall would not be affected by this, right?
Right, because
Correct.
this is only for, well, like it says, casting
things
or
that
copying.
trigger by spells.
Yeah, the only triggered abilities that trigger off of the things that make magecraft work. So casting an instant or sorcery or copying an instant or sorcery. So wait,
The only thing that's
quick question. If you cast an instant, like, redirect, that copies another instant, does that make magecraft trigger twice?
You're gonna make me wish Mike was here, because
Like, it should, because it says whenever you cast or copy, so you'll get one trigger off. Not even thinking about the double trigger here. This is just a magecraft in general question. So you should get one magecraft trigger for casting the redirect,
right.
and then get another one when it resolves for copying the spell you were copying.
I think so.
That's
I
got to
would
be how
have
that
to agree.
works.
I wouldn't know why it wouldn't work that way.
Exactly. Yeah. Also, chat, you're suddenly no help. When did you guys stop being helpful? He asks Twitch chat. Luckily, my Twitch chat is occasionally helpful. Okay, Chifuji said correct. Good. Which means if you cast like a fork or redirect or something with Varen out, you get a whole lot of triggers.
He's not wrong.
Buh.
Varen can become disgustingly big real fast.
Yeah,
Well,
Varen
just for
gets,
that turn anyway, but
gets what's the word? Swole.
He gets to be a swole bro.
he goes
Even
to
though-
leg day.
Even though I think this Ifrit might be female, but still, I don't know if Ifrits even have genders. I don't know what's up with Ifrits.
Well, every time I hear the word swole.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a dude named Chad. No offense, Chifuji.
Inserts the word bro. It just does.
Bruh.
Just call him Shmi.
Bruh. Alright, so those are the Prismari legendaries. Those are both neat, but they're not, like, boring. This is important. None of the 4 that we've talked about thus far have that generic commander, whenever you draw a card nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important because so many of the commanders from commander sets in recent years have been, whenever something happens, just draw a card because we didn't feel like actually designing anything.
This is why, for fans of the segment that we call Story Circle, which I love Story Circle, but we haven't done one in a while, because usually we prefer to do it with the more recent commanders. But
they've been so boring for so long.
I
They're
mean,
very
what
typecasted.
What do I do with this cleric commander? I think I should play clerics. Which isn't to say that we don't like tribal cards, but they're just not interesting to do a story circle around.
Yeah.
The deck
We need
makes
more
itself.
open-ended things. Like,
Yeah.
Osgir is closer to boring for a story circle, but we could still find an angle to make it not boring. But it's like, okay, just play artifacts that you want to copy. Got it. But we could have fun with that. Whereas the thing that's like, all right, whenever you draw your second card a turn, draw an extra card or whatever. like, all right, I guess we put this in a deck with card draw.
Yeah.
Like, which we went into that at great length on an episode when we did another story circle after like a year and a half or 2 years or something of not doing any story circles.
Yeah.
I don't remember when that was, but whatever.
Yes.
All right, so what's next? That's Prismari. Quandrix is next.
Yes.
Who's the main one? Adrix and Nev. So, okay, I'm gonna read this one because it was requested that Dirk read the other one like 2 weeks ago. So, Adrix and Nev twin casters are for 2 a green and a blue are 2/2 legendary Merfolk wizards. Okay.
Sounds legit.
Yeah, they have Ward 2, which remember that means whenever they become the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, it's countered unless they pay 2. And then if 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. Yeah, see, like, this one is boring to do a story circle around, because what do you do? Okay, you play it with tokens. Like, there's no real... Like, you could get into whether or not... how creative you can get with that. And there's lots of creative things you can do, but play it with token generators. Granted, that's really powerful. It's half of a freaking doubling season with ward, so it's harder to remove, but still. Yeah. But okay, so a couple weeks ago, I'm pretty sure someone said, I can't wait for Dirk to read the Fractal. So, hey, Dirk, you should read the Fractal.
All right. So, Essex Fractal Bloom. 4 green and a blue, so 6 total for a 4/4 legendary creature Fractal with flying. The first time you would create 1 or more tokens during each of your turns, you may instead choose a creature other than Essex Fractal Bloom and create that many tokens that are copies of that creature.
Wait. So instead of making, like, 1/1 elves, you could make that many copies of a creature you already control.
Yes. This is fine.
Holy
my
crap.
God.
I was like, all right, so instead of making these, there's a spell that makes like 2 elves. Just, it's like the Raise the Alarm, but it's for elves, right? I'm almost certain there's a spell that makes 2 elves. I'm like, well, instead of 2 elves, I'll just make 2 more, whatever the, insert elf lord here. Hunting Party. Thank you, Damasio. Does that make 2? Wow, Hunting Party.
You could do a Simic Sky Swallower with this because it doesn't say target.
Wait, I forgot to go to Gatherer first. That is true. It doesn't. I forgot what Hunting Party does. Search.
Oh my gosh.
There is no card called Hunting Party. What is it? What is that card called? I know the cards you're talking about.
Nakadal War Pride?
Hunting Triad? Oh, Hunting Triad. That's the art I was seeing in my head. Yeah, it makes 3 elves. Sorry. So you're like, okay, instead of making these 3 elves, I'll make 3 copies of whatever this elf lord is, which then pumps all of your other elves by 3. Buh. And chat is getting just gross. I'll make extra copies of this Craterhoof behemoth, or I'll play an Avenger of Zendikar and make an army of Craterhoofs. Ah! This is why I don't play Magic with any of you people.
Oh my gosh.
And that's just like the first thing that popped into my head, and then the first thing that popped into chat's head. So, It's
This is an absolutely disgusting card.
yeah, and remember, it doesn't go infinite because it's only the first time you make tokens during your turn. And it's only during your turn. So you can't, like, instant speed, end of your turn, I'll make some tokens. Look. So it does have some some checks on it. But that's ridiculous. I like this card. This card is silly.
Let's say that. And try and convince ourselves that's true.
It is silly. I don't need any convincing at all.
And Dirk just goes straight to Simic Sky Swallower because of course he does. He's Dirk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the fact that, like, again, it has Shroud, so you can't target it, but I'm going, this doesn't say target. This just says choose.
It's true.
And those are two very different words.
Indeed they are. Dirk is not wrong, ladies and gentlemen.
English is good.
I don't know about all that, but
Well, you know.
all right. So next up is Silver Quill. I can't get over the damn legendary fractal. That's tripping me out.
Well, here we have Brina the Demagogue.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah,
It
she
is.
is. For
Shmi is.
one, a white and a black. She is a 1/3 bird warlock with flying. Makes sense because she's, a bird. And then whenever a player attacks one of your opponents, if that opponent has more life than another of your opponents, that attacking player draws a card, and you put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature you control.
Okay, hang on. We gotta draw this out.
There's a lot of words on this
Okay,
card.
whenever a player attacks one of your opponents, that means you too, because you're a player.
You are a player.
Okay,
You're
if
a
that
player.
opponent has more life than another opponent. Okay, so if Mike's at full health and Brian's at 10, and I attack Mike, okay, then the attacking player, that would be me, draws a card, and then I put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature I control. Okay, but let's say Dirk is attacking Mike, who's at full health, and Brian's at 10. So Mike has more health than Brian. So then Dirk draws a card, but I still put 2 +1/+1 counters on one of my creatures. This is a weird card.
It's a weird card, but it's interesting.
I think I like it. But it's a weird card. It also encourages your opponents to do what?
It makes you such an instigator. Hey, Brian, go attack Mike. Mike's got lots of health. Go attack him.
Yeah, you'll draw a card if you attack Mike instead of me.
I love being an instigator.
That would be better on Mike, though. Mike will be like, oh, I'm attacking you then because I want to draw a card. Yeah, hell yeah. I'll be like, yes. But if that opponent has more life than another of your opponents. So if Mike attacks Brian, who's still at 10, but Dirk is at 5, it doesn't matter that Brian has less life than Mike because Brian still has more life than another of my opponents. So as long as you're not attacking the weakest of my opponents, then good things are happening. That's so weird. Just the way that it's written and what it does. I'm pretty sure I like it, though. It's a very political card.
Yeah. And I like political cards because they allow you to, I don't love politics in real life, but politics and Magic is just fine.
It's it's neat.
Yeah.
So there's another one right next to it. I guess it's Dirk's turn? I guess it's Dirk's turn.
All right.
Sure.
Felissa, Fang of Silver Quill. For 2 white, black. So grand total of 4. Legendary creature, Vampire Wizard. That's a 3/2 with flying. Also has Mentor. The attacks put a +1 counter on target attacking creature with lesser power.
Wait. When's the last time we saw Mentor?
It's been a while. I want to say the last time we went to Ravnica.
Was it?
I think it was a Boros ability, right? Back
Was
me
it?
up, chat.
Huh. It was Ravnica 3? Okay.
Ravnica Part 3.
Well, the next
Okay.
part says, whenever a non-token creature you control dies, if it had counters on it, create X tapped 2/1 white and black inkling creature tokens with flying, where X is the number of counters it had on it.
That's kind of gross, actually. Because that's if any of your creatures that aren't tokens die, you just make more guys that fly.
So,
Huh.
like my brain is going to, Simic, which has an unorthodox way of putting lots of counters on its stuff and just going, if this is out, and you can just somehow be like, just go, and that one dies. What was the mushroom cap? The one that had the wall of hats? Is that what it was?
I do love a wall of hats. I can't remember the right name for it. It's just always been wall of hats.
Right. It's just the creature that has just a ridiculous amount of counters that it comes on with that it gets to throw around and whatnot. But again, I'm just going, so if that dies, then a whole bunch of little inklings get made.
I don't
with
think it had a
flying.
ridiculous. It was only like 3 or 5 or something.
Oh, yeah, just 5.
Something like that.
So essentially, 10 power just got dropped on the board that has flying. So it's it's interesting. But that does go well with the mentor ability, though.
Yeah, the fact that this can add counters to things is a help. Granted, it has to attack, but at least it has flying.
Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking in my head, Skull Clamp needs to be in the deck.
Oh god. Yeah,
Of
the
course, Skull Clamp would
Fijian.
only work if, well, it's any.
Yeah, it's not +1/+1 counters. It's any counters.
Right. So.
Also, the wall of hats is Fijian Hydropon. Thank you, chat. So I legit could not remember the name of the damn card because we always just called it the wall of hats because it doesn't do anything but give hats to people.
And then there's the Ancestor. Was the Ageless Ancestor? Is that the one that anytime a spell gets played, it gets +1/+1 counter on it?
Oh crap. The first created card, player
Right.
created card. What the hell was that called?
Forgotten Ancient.
Forgotten Ancient. There we go.
So if that dies, just yeah.
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 Wolfie also pointed out since the tokens if Felisa makes are 2/1s, you could just put the skull clamp on them to draw 2 cards.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Felisa. She scares me.
It's probably about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want her to step on me, but I wouldn't say no.
I mean, if it happens, it happens, right?
Yeah, you know. Okay, then. You just need a couple sacrifice outlets so that you could make a bunch of 2/1s at the end of your opponent's turn.
Mhm. Have the Lord of the Pit.
No, because that sacrifices during your turn. You need to be able to sacrifice at the end of your opponent's turn, like a bunch of stuff that has tokens on it or counters on it, so that then you have an army of 2/1s that all then untap to attack.
Yeah. That's terrifying. What's with you and wanting to be stepped on?
I mean, I don't actually want to be stepped on, but it's become a thing, and I find it funny. Like,
It's now that expectation.
like that.
So-
Now I just think it's funny.
So would you want Willow Dusk to step on you?
I don't know what a Willow Dusk is. What's a Willow Dusk?
The next commander.
Mhm.
Oh, is that the Witherbloom? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Nope, wrong. What's Willow Dusk? No, I would not. So, Willow Dusk Essence Seer. For 1, a black and a green is a 3/3 Dryad Druid. Okay, that is a sin against pronunciation. Dryad Druid. That you'd think that would just roll off the tongue. It does not.
No.
Dryad Druid.
Druid.
It's not as cool as Goblin Shaman Common. Just saying.
Not at all. Yeah.
So a 3/3 for 3. And the ability says pay 1 and tap. Choose another target creature. I can do that. Put a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the amount of life you gained this turn or the amount of life you lost this turn, whichever is greater. What? Activate only as a sorcery. What? Okay.
Hmm.
That's definitely an ability that I've never seen before.
Yep. It's pretty neat. I kind of like the whole whichever is greater, either life loss or life gain, because it's black and green. So it could go either way. If you're into a sacrifice effect and you just paid a whole bunch of life for something like a Phyrexian processor, great. If you just gained a ton of life from your giant thing with lifelink, great.
Chat just said that the Witherbloom Dragon says hi. That's the one that says pay 10 life, untap all lands you control.
Yeah, I mean,
That seems like a good pairing. Yeah. It's like, hey, I lost 10 life. This creature is swole. Swing at your face. Oh, you lost 10 life. Damn. All right. Yeah, that's neat. I like that. Hell yes, Stream of Life.
all right. And then the other one
Is
for
Guillaume?
Guillaume.
Guillaume? How the hell do you say that?
I'm gonna say Guillaume, Master Chef. So for 2, a black and a green, I think I saw this guy just skimming over the list. I'm like, this is okay. This is different. So for 2, a black and a green, it's a 5/3 legendary troll warlock.
Okay, wait. The chef is a warlock? Maybe
Yes.
order takeout.
Well, let's see what's cooking. So he's a 5/3 for 4 with trample. At the beginning of your end step, create a number of food tokens equal to the number of non-token creatures you had enter the battlefield under your control this turn. So he's like, I got more mouths to feed. Food for everybody. Now, as another ability, pay 1 and sacrifice a food. Sacrifice a food. It doesn't say token because there's some, like from Eldraine, there were certain creatures that were food, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah, that's true.
Cookie.
Yeah.
Like the cookie, yeah. Target creature gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. So you're like, sit down. No, sit your butt down in this chair. Here's some soup. You'll feel better. Now take a turn off to eat your soup.
Huh.
It's very flavorful, which is
Maybe
appropriate for a
don't
chef.
order takeout then. That's really neat. Do you think they finally heard us complaining about the commanders being boring? Because all of these are actually really cool.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, I think some of them are a little straightforward, but none of them to the point that you're like, definitely, I want to get my hands on Brina, because that just seems like so much fun for politics. But
Also,
Guillaume seems...
Stark just pointed out, if the chef is a 5/3 with trample, just eat the food and say it's good. Yeah, all right.
That's true.
Yeah, okay. That's a good call.
It's one of those fancy restaurants where you sit down and there's no condiments, and you're like, where's the salt? And the chef is like, who does not require salt?
Wait, what doesn't say you control? The target creature? So you could use
True.
it to feed one of your opponent's creatures to put it to sleep before it attacks?
Tap it, yeah. And once again, you can also play politics. Oh, everybody on the table is ganging up on Mike because he's got that one creature, and maybe that creature is a problem. Maybe if I save it, it won't come at me next. So all sorts of stuff you can do with that. I like it.
Yeah, that's wow. I'm so happy with all of these commanders. Like, for real though.
Yeah. But there are honestly some other really interesting cards. I was mostly looking at the mono-colored cards earlier. And as usual, they've done a good job they've separated the new cards from the reprints. And there is some interesting stuff here. So, do we need to go in a particular order? Can we just pick out some things that look interesting to us?
Yeah, just go for it. I haven't looked at any of these cards, so I don't know what any of them do.
I want to talk about Bold Plagiarist. It's in black. It's at the top. And again, it's Bold Plagiarist. It seems to be depicting... It's a vampire rogue. It's depicting a silver quill mage. And so, they fight with their words, literally. And so a plagiarist is someone that steals the work of someone else. So this is interesting. For 3 and a black, it is a vampire rogue. It is a 2/2 with flash. That's important. Whenever an opponent puts one or more counters on a creature they control, they put the same number and kind of counters on Bold Plagiarist.
Ha!
And now we have things like lifelink counters, flying counters.
Oh god, that spell that makes a fractal the size of your library.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, I have that too, but it's bigger by 2.
It's bigger by 2. Yeah. And the flavor text says, I know a good idea when I see one. And keep in mind also any effect that says, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. They want to go wide, that's fine. You go really, really tall.
Wait, does that work?
Whenever an opponent puts one or more counters on a creature they control, each one would trigger this.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to talk about this one.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
The best ideas are definitely worth stealing, right?
I mean, clearly. Just ask the guy who took my Twitter account.
Hey, Dirk, do you see anything interesting?
Spawning Kraken.
Spawning Kraken. What color
It's
is that?
in blue.
Okay. This thing, I saw this thing, yeah.
So for 5 and a blue, it's a 6/6 Kraken that's rare. Whenever a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent you control deals combat damage to a player, create a 9/9 blue Kraken creature token.
Wow.
Yeah. Nice to see these other tribes getting some support.
Wow. That's... Wow.
Yeah.
I can think of at least one Kraken that's unblockable.
The title Kraken?
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure there are some serpents that have some sort of... they might not actually be serpents anymore, but have some sort of evasion like a landwalk or something.
Yeah. Not to mention, most of those are pretty big to begin with.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
What?
What?
Octavia Living Thesis.
Yeah, that's another interesting
Is
one.
that a crack? Oh, that's another card. I was like, is that a Kraken?
Yeah.
Like-
Yeah, Chewie, why don't you
Octopus, so it's close.
Chewie, why don't you read Octavia?
Okay. Oh, yeah, this one. This one made its way to the Discord, too. Octavia Living Thesis is an 8/8 elemental octopus for 8 blue. But, and it has ward 8, which I find hilarious.
Yeah.
Because that's too many ward. But it also says this spell costs 8 less to cast if you have 8 or more instant and or sorcery cards in your graveyard. So then you get an 8/8 with ward 8 and another ability for counterspell mana. Which is gross? Yeah, that's the word. That's gross. But it also has Magecraft. Target creature has base power and toughness 8/8 until end of turn when you trigger Magecraft. That's also gross.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and did you catch it? So count with me.
Okay.
The 8 at the top of the card.
Uh-huh.
The 8 that this spell costs less to cast. The word 8 or more instant and or sorcery cards. Ward of 8, and that gets you to 4, right? Then there's 8/8 toughness, 8/8 toughness.
So it has 8/8s on it.
It has 8/8 if you include the word 8. Which
Okay.
you can't tell me they didn't do that on purpose. That's too clean.
Yeah. What the hell? All right, Octavia is something.
Yeah.
Something.
How do you kill Octavia? Just with lots of mana, I guess, is how you kill Octavia.
Or an edict effect where you're like, make them sack a creature. That's all I got. Because you're gonna.
Well,
You're
again,
gonna
and
spend-
like just mass removal will get rid of it because those
Yeah.
don't target.
But yes, to kill this with a Doomblade, you need to spend 10 mana.
Which honestly, at this point, it might be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Ooh, there's
What
a
else we
fractal
got?
theorist right above it.
What's that do?
I don't know.
I've already moved away. I was gonna go to white.
Dika Fractal Theorist. For 4 and a blue is a 3/3 legendary human wizard. Magecraft, create a fractal and put X +1/+1 counters on it where X is that spell's mana value. Oh, okay, that makes sense. And then for 3 and a blue, target creature token can't be blocked this turn. Oh.
Yeah.
That's pretty
So
cool.
there's some interesting legendary creatures here, even in the monocolored, because we spent some time on the multicolored. But so,
Wait, whose horse is amazing? Oh my god, Dika's on a horse. It's a fractal horse. That horse is amazing. Man, I haven't thought about My Horse is Amazing in a long time. I need to go look that up again.
So
Look at
do you
my
guys
horse. Oh, sorry, what?
do you guys like propaganda effects?
No.
No? Do you like having them?
Sometimes.
You're not someone where you want to sit back and be like, you can't touch me. Well, then you probably won't like Niles. He's in white, and he's Niles. Or Nils, Nils.
I think it's probably Nils.
Nils, Discipline Enforcer. He's a teacher. For 2 and a white, he's a 2/2 legendary human cleric. At the beginning of your end step, for each player, put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature that player controls. Up to 1 being the operative word. But why would you want to put counters on an opponent's creature? Well, I'm glad you asked. Pay attention, because there's more words on the card. It probably would have answered your question if you'd let me keep talking. So, each creature with 1 or more counters on it can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless its controller pays X, where X is the number of counters on that creature. So that fractal that you made that has the counters equal to the cards in your library is not attacking me ever. Just ever. But maybe you've got a guy that I just want to make it harder for me to attack me. Then I make it a little bigger. And you know what? Then it can go attack someone else. Politics.
And then I kill your Nils and attack you with my library fractal anyway.
Well, that's what I get for, playing a teacher. But he also, keep in mind, at the beginning of your end step, he's putting a +1/+1 counter on one of your guys. And if nothing else, he, take it for himself. So, I also really like Scholarship Sponsor. It's in the same row. It's not legendary, but I think this is really good for multiplayer.
What's it do?
Scholarship Sponsor for 3 and a white is a 3/3 human advisor. When it enters the battlefield, each player who controls fewer lands than the player who controls the most lands searches their library for a number of basic land cards less than or equal to the difference, puts those cards onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffles. So everyone goes up to the highest amount of lands.
Everyone catches up to the smartass rampy guy.
Yes.
Or you help out the poor bastard whose deck is screwing them and they can't find that third land.
Exactly. And then if our games are any indication, that is the person that wins every time. But still, I really like what this card does.
Yeah, it is a nice little group hug effect.
Usually with white, you have symmetrical effects, and it's more about, and it's supposed to be about equality, but it's more about kind of like, we're going to hurt everybody, like Wrath of God. And you found a way to slant it in your favor. This is the actual, like, fair side of fair, where you're actually getting other people caught up. So I like it. And then you get a 3/3.
Yeah, and if you're the person who hasn't been ramping, hey!
Yeah. But because of the way this works, there's not really any advantage to, like, then blinking this and getting the effect later, unless there's been some disparity again, where that maybe the ramp guy goes, oh yeah, and casts like 2 cultivates in a turn somehow, and you're like, all right, let's do it again. Ha 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 ha.
Look at my horse. I'm sorry, now it's in my head. Thanks, chat.
Okay. And now I want everybody else to have a chance to talk about cards, but I have to say, and I'm going to shut up, the flavor text on Monologue Tax is the best. Just the best. Dirk, you're a teacher. Why don't you tell us about Monologue Tax?
Yeah, I was gonna be like, this one's awesome. So monologue tax for 2 and a white. It's an enchantment. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, you create a treasure token, and it has a guy throwing up gems. And the words that came to my mind were, he put his money where his mouth is. But that's
Oh,
not what it
Boo.
says.
Boo!
It says on the card for flavor text, your unsolicited words enrich us all. Please continue. I enjoyed the elephant artificer right next to it.
okay.
Low shield.
Also, wait a minute.
Okay.
The professor who gave that monologue text, flavor text, is the professor of crypto-relicology. Now, I was gonna take crypto-relicology in college, but it was on top of one of my physics major classes, so I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Crypto-relicology.
And some of the names for some of these degrees at Strixhaven or specialties seem very niche, which I actually love. I really love it. Lets you get very specialized. I'm sure somebody there is like a professor of specifically turning bricks into jello. That's gotta be somebody.
Underwater basket weaving.
There you go.
I think that is crypto-relicology. All right, so what does low shield do that you like so much?
Low shield, a clockwork scholar for 2 and a white. It's a 2/4 legendary elephant artificer. Says prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to attacking artifact creatures you control.
Nice.
Whenever one or more artifact creatures enter the battlefield under your control, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. So, not a very good story circle card, but one that this one definitely is an Esper deck. Like, this one needs to be in an Esper deck.
I really like that it only triggers once. Like, you only get one draw a turn off of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice little power check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since you're dealing with artifacts.
Yeah.
And historically, artifacts tend to be problematic when you give them this sort of ability because they can be free or super cheap and fit in every deck. Although now we have colored artifacts, but historically. So it's good for them to be like, you know what? We're just going to play this one safe. And it's still awesome.
Yeah. I just read the Guardian Archon next to it, and now I kind of want to die.
Why?
I don't know. For 4
Okay.
white, it's a 5/5 Archon with flying. As it enters the battlefield, secretly choose an opponent.
Mike.
And then, secretly.
He's not here. He didn't hear it.
And then
Go ahead.
the other ability, the cost is reveal the player you chose. That's the cost. Which, that's why I want to die, because that's the cost. And the effect is you and target permanent you control each gain protection from the chosen player until end of turn. Activate only once. Yeah, you think?
Just forever. No, this is just a flying true name nemesis.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look, it was Mike again. Guess Mike can't kill me. Mike's like, next turn attack. No, it was Mike again. No, you only get one. Shut up.
But nothing stops you from blinking this. And then enters the battlefield again. And
That's very true, yeah.
Secretly choose an opponent. Maybe it'll be dark this time.
Maybe it will. Oh, it was Mike. Sorry, Mike. That was pretty neat. Let's see here. What's in red? Anything good in red?
I don't remember. I just kind of scanned it. Obviously, some really interesting reprints here, but
Ooh.
reprints versus new cards.
I just saw the art for Cursed Mirror, and that makes me happy. That's a classic horror movie scene.
Oh yeah.
when the reflection in the mirror reaches out and strangles you.
Well, what's the card do?
I have no idea. For 2 and a red, it's a an artifact that taps for red mana. Yay. It says, as Cursed Mirror enters the battlefield, you may have it become a copy of any creature on the battlefield until end of turn, except it has haste. Oh, so it's a mana rock that punches somebody first.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It does something first, and then it's a mana rock.
It's a sneak attack that kind of, sort of, that turns into a mana rock. Kind of, sort of.
That's actually really cool.
That feels so weird, but it's great for red. That's really...
Because
this
red
is hurting my head a
red
little
is
bit.
all about those. All right, like ball lightning. Here's a big thing. You swing with it. All right, it's gone. But in this case, it's like, here's a cheap thing. It's a copy of that. You swing with it. Okay, it's not that anymore, but it's a mana rock, and you're like, hey, I'll tap this for mana.
But
like you walk over to your statue of your whatever Archon or whatever. It's like, tap red mana. Thanks. Like. Like it's a statue in the garden, and you had a tap that makes beer just installed in its finger where it was pointing at you. And you just twist the finger and beer comes out, and you're like, cheers. Like, and your opponent's like, that's not funny. Like, it's really funny. Like, sip.
And red is the best color after green for ramp. It's now the primary color for ritual effects. So, it's a little interesting to see it on a permanent, but hey, I like it.
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
I just read Inferno Project, and now I am deeply afraid of everything.
All right, what's it do?
Inferno Project costs 6 and a red. It's an elemental creature, and it's a 0/0 with trample.
Isn't that the thing from the end of The Last Unicorn?
I don't remember The Last Unicorn.
Well, it was a giant red bull, but I mean that's close enough, right?
Looks very similar.
Anyway,
it enters the battlefield with X.
Don't let me stop you. Just keep going.
That's okay. Inferno Project.
No, really, I mean it. Just keep going.
With X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the total mana value of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard.
Holy crap, I read that wrong twice.
You probably read it as equal to the number of instant or sorcery cards. That's what my brain started to fill in.
Yeah.
That's very different. I mean, that already can be like, okay, that can get pretty big. But you're probably going to get to, by 7, you're probably going to make it like a, say, a 4/4 or a 5/5. Or more. But no. no, not at all. You spend a couple turns burning things, drawing cards, discarding
cards, yeah.
Yeah, because you're in red. And then you get this thing with trample, and it enters the battlefield with that. So even if it's blinked out, returned, whatever, it will come in with those counters. So yeah.
But it doesn't have haste.
It does not.
Naturally. Like,
no.
You're in red, so you could probably give it haste, but it doesn't have haste.
Yeah. There is a card in Strixhaven, I think it's first day of class, for 1 and a red. Creatures you control, creatures that enter the battlefield under your control this turn get a +1/+1 counter and gain haste, but then that would require spending 2 mana on top of this. So
I mean, it's Commander. That's totally doable.
Yeah.
First day of school was red, right?
It's red. There are lots of ways to get to. There are lots of ways to give a creature haste. Excuse me.
Oh no, he's fading fast.
I'm good. It's after 10 o'clock, so I'm here. I'm actually doing all right. Dirk, you haven't talked about a single green card. Are you okay?
So Fractal Harness.
He had one ready.
Yeah.
All right. What's Fractal Harness do?
So for X, 2 and a green, it's an artifact equipment. When Fractal Harness enters the battlefield, put a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X +1/+1 counters on it and attach Fractal Harness to it. Whenever equipped creature attacks, double the number of +1/+1 counters on it.
Oh, my dear. So I mean, yeah, okay, you can make a giant fractal and attach this to it, or if need be, you can just stick this on anything that gets counters, like Forgotten Ancient.
See, I thought that was that the artifact did that.
So I'm saying that when you play the artifact, you can pay a lot into X and get a big guy, and then every time you attack, you'll keep doubling it. I'm just saying, or you can just put it on something that's not a fractal that maybe gets counters already and double them that way. Just, it's versatile and scary. And the art is kind of tripping me out. Have you? So there's a. Is this the first set with Demonstrate?
I don't think saw that on a card earlier, but I didn't read it.
So, in green, there's Healing Technique. For 3 and a green, it's a sorcery. It has Demonstrate, and in the flavor text, the rules text says, when you cast this spell, you may copy it. If you do, choose an opponent to also copy it. Players may choose new targets for their copies. Now we'll keep going with this. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. You gain life equal to that card's mana value. Exile Healing Technique. So it says Demonstrate is a may. So you can just pay 4 mana and do Healing Technique and choose not to demonstrate it and just get the effect. But if you demonstrate it, you get Healing Technique times 2, basically. You get the effect twice.
And one opponent does.
And one opponent does. Which, depending on the opponent, that might be fine. Does every color get a demonstrate? That's in green.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I'll go to the top.
So I guess just talking about Healing Technique real quick, obviously that seems pretty good. Being able to reuse stuff that you've already used is good, and then getting some life gain on top of it. Again, it's good. Okay.
White gets destroy target non-land permanent. Its controller creates 2 treasures. With Demonstrate.
Yeah. Also for 4 mana.
Yeah.
So you can just blow something up and get 2 treasures. Or if you really want to spread it around, blow up 2 things, end up with 4 treasures, and...
What? No. Its controller gets... The thing you blew up gets to 2 treasure tokens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, I blew up your thing. Here's 2 piles of gold.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Blue gets Replication Technique. Create a token that's a copy of target permanent you control for 5 mana at sorcery speed. The white one is also sorcery.
Okay.
Where'd it go? Create a token that's a copy of target permanent you control. Yeah, okay.
All right.
So you could do that twice, and your opponent does it once for 5 mana, which... yeah, that sounds good.
Now, if your opponent gets a copy of this, they can only target a creature they control, because the spell says create a copy of a creature you control. So
a permanent, yeah.
A permanent. So yes, thank you.
But it does specify you control, so yeah.
Right. So if I copy my guy and I want another copy of him or something else, even if I give another copy to somebody else, they can't copy my thing. They have to copy one of their own. So that might be a safe one to demonstrate. If an opponent doesn't have any creatures out. Wow. That one actually feels like you can do that safely. All right.
Black gets mill 5 cards, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield for 5.
That is a very Mike card. He'll be like, yes, mill 10. Yes. Yes.
I mean, for 5 mana, getting 2 creatures back from your graveyard after dumping 10 cards in seems pretty good.
I mean, that seems awesome. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. When I say something's a Mike card, that is not a bad thing. But this would appeal to him.
And then red for 5 mana gets... Oh god, it's a red rare. Shuffle your library. Reveal cards from the top until you reveal a non-land card. Exile that card. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. Oh.
Huh. I like it. So you get to do that twice if you demonstrate it. So chances are you'll get something if you built your deck right. And then you get to let an opponent spin the wheel. I mean, all these seem pretty good. And it's an interesting new ability. You're demonstrating it. So you're like, let me show you how it's done. No, okay, now you try.
Yeah, okay, so these demonstrate spells are actually very risk reward. I like these.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there's the bear druid. Dirk, did you see the bear druid?
I did.
You gotta read the bear druid, because look at her. She's amazing.
So, Ruxa, Patient Professor. For 2 and 2 green, legendary creature, bear druid that's a 4/4. Whenever Ruxa, Patient Professor, enters the battlefield or attacks, return target creature card with no abilities from your graveyard to your hand. Creatures you control with no abilities get +1/+1. You may have creatures you control with no abilities assign their combat damage as though they hadn't blocked. They weren't blocked, sorry.
That's it's like Miragonda petroglyphs, but on speed.
I was thinking like it's like the Thorn Elemental with its ability, except that creatures with no abilities get the Thorn Elemental ability.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Miragonda petroglyphs was that old weird enchantment from Future Sight that said, and I think it was actually printed somewhere, that said creatures you control with no abilities get, I think it was +2/+2. Miragonda petroglyph. Yeah, creatures with no... Oh, it's just creatures with no abilities get +2/+2. Oh, it was not reprinted anywhere else. It was in Future Sight and then Time Spiral Remastered. But I could have sworn we'd seen Miragonda. Oh, I think we did somewhere. Just we didn't get this card.
Was that on... No.
Wasn't there some set, like a core set or something, that featured a bunch of different planes? And they each got like a couple cards? Was Miragonda one of those?
Maybe.
Or am I making all this up in the hopes that it makes sense? But, Stark said, it's impossible to tell from card size, but the runes Ruxa is drawing on the board are from that card's art. Oh, from the petroglyphs? Oh, no way. Okay, now I gotta look this up. MTG... No, wait. Just do Ruxa, Patient Professor, image search. Miragonda petroglyphs. So I found the art. Hang on, let's go open a new tab. That's not big enough. There we go. Drag this over here. So, okay. Hang on, I have too much crap open. Where are you guys? Okay, so that's what you can see. There is the bear drawing on the board, and here That is... God, this is way too small. I think it's that one and that one. Damn it. Muragonda petroglyphs. Image search. Ah, there we go. There we go. All right. Open image, a new tab. There we go. Okay, so she's... Go away. So yeah, that's this rune and that rune. That's so awesome. Thank you, Stark. And I really feel like I should go upstairs and check on my neighbors. They're so quiet, and now I'm just hearing constant loud thunks. And I'm like afraid that they're getting the crap kicked out of them or something. I said they're usually so... I forget I have neighbors. Huh. But anyway, yeah, I love that the bear professor is a professor that cares about bears. Like, tutus that with no abilities. That just makes me so happy.
Mm-hmm.
And what do? You get a creature... You reanimate one back to... Well, you don't reanimate. You get it back to your hand. They all get +1/+1, and they all get a Thorn Elemental ability. That's so cool. I forgot. I read this card, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago. And I was like, that's so cool. And then we didn't do a show. And then I forgot. Nice. Oh, wait, are there any neat... anything else? Any lands? Scrolling. Okay, Command Tower, Barrenmore. Oh, we got Witch's Clinic, which adds colorless or 2 and tap to give a target commander lifelink until end of turn. That's cool. And then Study Hall, which is common. So this is the one that's in all of the decks. Taps for colorless or pay 1 and tap to add 1 of any color. And when you spend this mana to cast your commander, scry X, where X is the number of times it's been cast from the command zone this game. Oh. That's cool. That gives you an upside for recasting your commander over and over and over. Is you get to scry more. Like the guy in Hearthstone says. Scry more! I don't remember who that was now.
But I like that because it's something you have to do anyway. I like anything that just turns a downside to an upside or mitigates that. Yeah.
Stark also said, I feel like Ruxa is voiced by Winston from Overwatch. Not Winston's voice actor, the actual character Winston. Hi there. Oh.
Okay.
What?
I was going to say the artifacts.
Yeah, I was about to say someone should read Triplicate Titan because it makes me happy.
So, hey, Mike, I heard you liked your worm, the worm scale, worm coil engine. Thank you, worm coil engine. So, here's another worm for that. Triplicate Titan costs 9 for a 9/9 golem. It has flying, vigilance, and trample. Get used to hearing those words. When it dies, create a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token with flying, a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token with vigilance, and a 3/3 colorless golem artifact creature token with trample. It's a worm coil engine with another head, but instead of lifelink, and death touch, you get flying, vigilance, and trample.
And I love that the original is like a centaur chimera. What the hell?
I want to see these tokens that this makes Because there's got to be one for each, right?
Yeah, I mean it'll be a bull with trample and the centaur with vigilance and the eagle
And
thing
the
with flying.
griffin. Well, I thought that was a griffin.
A
But
griffin,
yeah,
whatever it is.
yeah, with flying. Yeah.
Have we seen? Do they have they done that? Have they given us the?
I thought they gave us the tokens, but I didn't see those.
Have you
rules changes? Release notes. Ah, here we go. Tokens. Commander edition. Okay. Artifacts. Yeah. They're actually really pretty. Here you go. Here's the link for chat in case you guys care. Here's the link for dorks. And it's not a centaur. It's a dude. Is the one with vigilance. A dude with a long spear. That's how you know he has vigilance. And then a bull, and then a griffin. So that's cool. And then the art on the copy token actually makes my head hurt. Oh, these are double-sided. I completely forgot that they're doing double-sided tokens. The backside's a Thopter with all of those. Okay, then. So that's cool.
Cool. Yeah, I like that. All right. Hey, Chewie, look at Geometric Nexus.
Oh, it's an artifact. Well, it's pretty. I'll give it that. For 2 mana, it's an artifact. Whenever a player casts an instant sorcery spell, put a number of charge counters on Geometric Nexus equal to that spell's mana value. Okay, charge counters. Got it. Whenever a player. Oh,
Yes.
God.
Yes.
All right. Then you pay 6, tap, and remove all charge counters to get a fractal with X +1/+1 counters, where X was the number of charge counters. Huh. That's cool.
But it's interesting because it only costs 2, so you play it out early. And it triggers whenever any player casts an instant or sorcery spell.
But it doesn't get a charge counter. It gets mana value charge counters. Jesus.
Yes. That's the third thing that I was going to say.
That's
so
disgusting.
Yeah. And try having a commander game where no one plays instants and sorceries. That's not going to happen. Now, the only thing about it is you can't split them up. You can't be like, all right, I want to make, a decent sized guy this turn, but keep a couple counters on in case maybe I want to make another creature. You're always required to empty all the counters off of it. But this is the sort of thing that once you get up to 6 mana, if people are consistently playing spells, you could be doing this every turn until they finally blow it up or whatever, and then you start casting the other spells in your hand. So, yeah, I like cards that win the game, with little commitment.
Yeah. Like Mike is like Hull Breach, and Brian is like, I don't know, explosive vegetation, and Dirt goes, I don't know, something that costs 5. I got nothing. And then I cast Kaboom, and then Mike's like, okay, hang on, that's 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5. I will make this, what did I just say, 16? That's pretty good for 6 mana. All right, my turn, because he did that at the end of my turn, because Mike sucks. Right, did I do that right? 5 and 5 and 4 and 2. Yeah, that's 16. I can count.
Yeah.
Kaboom costs 5, right? Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what Dirk played. It was a generic 5 mana sorcery.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. I have to say, I'm actually impressed with these new cards.
Yeah.
Which
They
I have
put
not
some-
been for commander set for a while. Like individual cards in the set were like, yeah, that's pretty cool. But these thus far all seem at the very least neat.
Yeah. Agreed. And sometimes that's just all you need.
Yeah, like I haven't yawned at any of these cards. Yeah, especially like to me the commanders are so important, and none of these are like, oh, okay, fine, that's sure. Yeah. Like the only one that was remotely like that was this monocolored one in white, but it had a power check on it.
Yeah,
the low shield.
Yeah, and I mean, someone's gonna love that. So
yeah, like the fact that it can't be abused easily makes it fine. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but given with the time, I figure we should probably stop.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna say one more, and then I'm gonna be done. Okay.
Okay.
I am very partial to Silver Quill. I don't know what it is about it. I just really like it. And I read a card here, and I'm like, that's great. It's called Ink Shield. And for 3, a white and a black, it's an instant. Prevent all combat damage that will be dealt to you this turn. For each one damage prevented this way, create a 2/1 white and black inkling creature token with flying.
That's a hell of a fog.
Yeah. I mean, it costs 5. But
all right, I'm swinging at you for, let's see, hang on, and this guy gets +1/+1 from that, and so this is 12. Brian's like, no blocks.
I'm like, yeah, exactly. And you're like, no blocks. I'm like, yeah, no blocks.
All right, I guess I'll pump this one using this ability. All right, so what is that now? 15? Ink Shield. Bruh.
And I like how with the 2 for each 1 damage you get a 2/1. It's literally doubling in power the damage you would have received.
Yeah,
that's it. And now I'm good.
Pretty cool.
I'm good. I just thought that was a good note to end on because, yeah. Right. If you're gonna pay 5 for a fog, that's pretty awesome.
That's pretty good. Yeah, upside for it. Nice.
Okay.
So we done?
We're done. Mm-hmm. Dirk, you done?
Yep.
All right.
So, you know what? Before we final thought, let us go to patreon.com/themanapool, where you can go and sign up to become a lifeguard and support the Manapool. You get the early access to the podcast and to YouTube videos. You get the odds and ends. And you get, if you want, the sponsorship shout out at the end of the podcast and on the end screen for all the YouTube videos. So, this is 2 minutes. Hang on. The filters are broken. Apply filters. There we go. So I would like to thank our mythic lifeguards, as always. Jason Doan, Kim Maho, The Beastfather, Aaron Goodwine, Al, Aleph Cat, ALK Alters, Andrew, a lot of A's. Andrew Hunt, that is. Cody Buckowing, Connor Kennedy, Jake Jansons, Jason Kaus, Jeff Spencer, John Parker, Casey, Beardy Man, Mr. Dr. Lewis, Gothic Man, PJ McMullin, Scuzzo, Team Uhellas Haru, Violet Moon, and Stan. He told me how to pronounce his first name, but not his last name. I'm going to say Megonk?
Sure.
Stan? So yes, thank you all so very much for your support, and to all of the lifeguards at every tier. Thank you so much. I choked. I quite literally could not do this without you. Yay. Yay. So, how about some final thoughts? We'll start with Mike. So he's been awful quiet this episode.
He has. But he's always kind of a speak when spoken to kind of guy.
Yeah, and you notice none of us have asked his opinion on anything, not once tonight.
Not once. We are
God,
bad.
we're just
we are
the
bad
worst.
people. We're just the worst.
You know what? Let's just keep that trend going and not ask Mike anything.
Yeah, shut up, man.
Damn it,
I'm
Mike.
sure he would just say something about a demon. So
So, to one of you, final thought us.
okay,
Well,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Brian.
So for me, life is going pretty well. Work has been a little stressful lately. I won't lie. I don't think it's been as stressful as some people's, and I am still very, very thankful that throughout this entire process, the last year now and beyond, I've had gainful employment, and I'm happy for that. Things have been a little stressful lately, so I'm honestly enjoying the mana pool as well as doing an ongoing D&D game with Mike and Dirk and a couple others, including my brother, because it's been a good release. So, and I have been enjoying Arena. Honestly, it's since it came out for mobile, I've been playing it more, and I've been playing some Strixhaven. So, I did a pre-release with my daughter, and I got Inkwell, Silver Quill, and because this had the seeded pack again, because it's a multicolor set, and she got Quadrix. I got some decent stuff. I'm not gonna lie. She opened the alternate art borderless Professor Onyx, and I'm like, that's amazing. And she's like, oh, and look at this neat looking counterspell. And I'm like, which one? She's like, it's called Counterspell. And I'm like, I did not even know that was in the set. So she built her deck. I built mine. I added some green to mine. She shifted, I think, entirely into Demir. And I was doing okay. And Professor Onyx hits the board. And Sam loves overkill. She loves overkill. And when
Yes,
the
she
game was
does.
over, she waited until Professor Onyx had 9 counters on her so that she could do the -8 and still have her around, just in case, which I don't know why she needed to, because with the way that her limit break works, I had 1 card in hand and I was at 3 life, so I ended up at -15 life. She could have done it the previous turn and I would have been at less negative, but still decidedly negative. But she saw it through and she played well and she used her counterspell extremely well, and I was very proud of her. So, I'm not gonna say any more about it. Just was enjoying playing Magic with Sam, and hopefully some of you out there have been able to have a similar experience. That's all I got. Until I think of something during Dirk's final thought, I'll take it over because Mike's not here. Anytime now. Go and get started.
Well,
Don't let me stop you.
Yeah.
We are awesome. Why isn't
I
Dirk
think
talking yet?
my big final thought would be about ingenuity, about the little helicopter from the Perseverance probe.
That's so
That's
freaking cool.
yeah. I actually when we got done with our main stuff in class one day this week, I I saw that they had flown in, they'd done all this stuff, and I actually took the YouTube video and I put it up on the screen so the entire class could see it, and they're all watching, going, "That's really cool." Because I explained to a couple of them that because there's only 1% of the atmosphere on Mars than there is on Earth, that it had to spin at just a ridiculously high torque just to get off the ground. And they're and then the video they're explaining all that, and they're going, "Wow, that's pretty impressive." So, but that would be my final thought. Is just it's it feels kind of surreal for me because again, when during spring break we went to Kitty Hawk and got to go to the Wright brothers memorial and see where they flew, and then to have this happen where they actually had fabric from the Wright brothers glider, the Wright brothers plane, on the probe doing the first flight on another planet. So that was that just felt kind of surreal and kind of just neat to have all this stuff sort of happen. So that's my final thought, is just that there's interesting and fun and cool stuff going on elsewhere out there.
Hey, Dirk, did you see
Yep.
that I just dropped in the Discord chat?
See? Aviation firsts. Yep.
Yeah, I dropped a link to a recent XKCD. It says Aviation first. It's got Earth and Mars, and they're both checked for flight, for landing, for controlled landing, and for controlled powered flight. And then Earth is checked for loop, in-flight meal, planetary circumnavigation, enormous wooden aircraft built by a reclusive billionaire that flies exactly once, and hijacking by someone dubbed DB Cooper, who demands money and then jumps out mid-flight to an unknown fate. So Mars is almost halfway there.
Huh.
I mean, it's at 4 out of 9.
They can always do better.
I freaking love XKCD. Anyway. Yay. But yeah, I didn't realize that happened. So Bill and Clues joined me for a Just Chatting episode last night. And Clues brought that up, and I was like, wait, when does that happen? And he went, Monday? I was like, sweet. He goes, no, last Monday. I was like, wait, what? I missed it? He's like, yeah. Oh. But that's so, like, I was like, what did it do? He said it flew up, hovered for a minute, and then landed. And I was like, that's still cool, because that's a different freaking planet. That happened not here. Do you know how insane that is?
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
And if you think, well, that's not a big deal, that's a big deal.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah.
I think we tend to take scientific discovery for granted these days because we have had so many advancements that it's kind of like, oh,
And?
I honestly feel like sometimes we get a bit jaded with that. We've been to space, we've sent satellites out of the solar system, and we have been to the bottoms or as close to it as we can of the ocean. It feels almost like, yeah, we know all this, you know. I got so mad a while ago when there was a hashtag on Twitter that was like, instead of going to Mars, it was like, instead of going to Mars, we could do this or this and this. And I mean, yes, we need money for other things, but the space program, first of all, we still don't know all about the universe, but the space program has also led to the development of other things like, I don't know, Velcro, astronaut ice cream, more Velcro. I'm sure my ignorance. I'm sure there's a lot more things, but just because we're just now able to do stuff like go to Mars does not mean that until now we haven't accomplished anything. So,
Yeah.
yay,
And
science!
Like, the important thing that people that use that hashtag don't realize is that the budget for the space program and going to Mars is minuscule compared to, I don't know, the military spending.
Yes.
So, like, if you're going to start cutting, maybe don't start with the science and knowledge that's meant to enhance all of mankind. You can't see it, but I'm doing the Mother of Dragons, like, smug smile thing. You know the picture from Game of Thrones that I'm talking about? Where she leans in and goes,
But, you know, there's not a special interest group that will really benefit from this. I mean, maybe there is, but not the ones with the really deep pockets.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Yeah, and as much as I hate Elon Musk because he is a giant idiot and really needs to be sat down in a corner and made to shut up, at least he is funding some actual science with SpaceX and whatnot. If only we could get him to shut the hell up about everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Get out of your own way sometimes.
But anyway. That's awesome.
Good for you, Dirk.
Yep.
Yeah, Dirk, good for you for flying a helicopter. Wait.
Hey, we all do what we can.
So wait, Brian, did you do your thing already?
Your final thought? Yeah, I went first.
Right, okay.
I'm doing my best to not leave immediately.
I appreciate that. So that
You have
leaves
50
me.
seconds.
So I got the Twitter account back. That's my big news. I had Bill and Clues on last night, and we did like 2.5 hours of just chatting stream. We just shot the breeze about whatever. It was awesome. We did a lot of reminiscing about really old video games and medium old video games, and then brand new video games. It was very strange. And that was just one part of the entire stream, so that was nice. But I got good news from my accountant regarding taxes, so that's good. I helped out a long-time listener by getting him into DoorDash, and he's just tickled about it. Although I think he screwed up the referral link somewhere because he's not listed in my referrals. But, you know, that only cost me like $600, so no big deal. That's the deal right now. Like, apparently if a DoorDash referral person gets, I think Amanda told me it's 240 deliveries in 2 months, which is hard but not impossible, then the referring person gets $600. I was like, holy crap. Because that's a lot, but that's also a lot. So, but apparently
Those
he didn't.
are both factual statements.
Yeah,
yes.
but apparently he didn't use my referral link. So that's kind of a bummer. But then I think he still has a day job. So 240 in 2 months is probably not doable in the slightest. So, But still, he's happy doing the job, and that's the most important part. You know,
absolutely.
yeah, the referral money is like I looked, I was like, oh, I wonder how many he's done, and he wasn't there, and I said, that's weird. Oh well, it wasn't like, damn it, it cost me. No, I just went, oh well, damn. But still, yeah, I'm really glad I was able to help him, and he just hit me with just a barrage of questions just for like 2 or 3 days straight. Hey, so how does this work? And I tell him, and then what about and I tell him. I was like, I don't actually know that one, but I think it works this way. Okay. And then like a couple hours later I get, so what about, I'm like, yeah, okay, like this, yeah. And I kept getting repeat questions. Yeah, I already told you this, but here it is again. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, he seems to be enjoying it. There will be no show next week, almost certainly, because I will have company Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but then company will be leaving Thursday night, and I think I will be getting home in time to do the show, but I will almost certainly want to die. So I will not, we will all, I'm going to say like 95% no show next week. Because after having like very limited human contact for a very long time, and then having a friend come visit, then them leaving is going to be painful. And I'm almost certain I will be bummed out beyond all reason. So, yeah. Probably no show next week.
I could see that happening.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't really have much else going on. I'm still doing Final Fantasy Fridays on Twitch on Friday night. Still playing through the first one at the moment. Still playing Hades. I managed to do Extreme Measures 4. If you play Hades, you know what that means. Once, the very first time, no problem. It was actually not that hard. And then the second time, got to the end with Extreme Measures 4, got crushed. It was depressing. It was a bummer. I got Ownzord to the Bone Zord. So yeah,
I really don't want to hate you, Chewie. So
it's too late for that. It's been too late for years. But yeah, I want to get some like retro gaming going, which I keep saying all the time and then not doing it because I now have too many options. So I've made a smaller subset of games that I definitely want to stream at some point. And I will probably be starting up some of those, or one of those at some point soon. And I really want to play, what's it called? Oh God, with the little tiny person kid thing in the yellow, Little Nightmares. That's going to be the next Steam game I play. Because Steph, a month or so ago, sent me a copy of Little Nightmares 2. And I went, oh no, I haven't played the first one yet. And since I finished Limbo, and then now I finished Shovel Knight, I need another like game like that to play. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be Little Nightmares because I've heard nothing but good things about it. And it's creepy and weird, which I always appreciate. That's why I hang out with Brian and Dirk.
it's true.
And Mike, but he's not here to be picked on, so. But anyway, so don't forget, Twitter is @themanapool. Ha ha ha! Screw you, South Carolina fake ID maker, you piece of word I can't say on this show. Poop, you piece of poop. The Patreon is patreon.com/themanapool, twitch.tv/themanapool, youtube.com/themanapool. You see the theme here. It's very concise. So yeah, but this has been, what episode is this? 620 of the Manapool. Thank you all so very much for joining us, and don't forget the Omnisword of ultimate badassening. Sorry, badassness. I screwed it up. Editing Chewie. Editing Chewie has abandoned us. Never mind. Good night, everybody.